Mr. Haynie, the next question will be to you, and this is question number 9. And for the audience's knowledge, I want to be clear that the topic of this next question is one that both candidates have not only agreed to discussing, but have also expressed a desire to sort of set the record straight. Otherwise, it would be one that I, as moderator, am not comfortable asking.
Right.
With that said, Mr. Haynie, you've had some health issues in the past, and oftentimes over-exaggerated rumors about both of you qualified candidates' condition have been tossed around. If you would, please share with us some information regarding your current health and your ability to perform the tasks that would be required of you if elected. And the same for you, Judge Lincoln. You've also had some health issues in the past, and if you would also comment on those, how did they or do they not affect the fulfillment of your duties as White County Judge? Mr. Haynie.
Okay. Before 2007, I was having some severe headaches in the frontal part of my head, and it was discovered that I had a non-malignant meningioma, which means non-cancerous. It wasn't that big, but for a lack of medical terms, I have to do it like this. Your brain's in 2 halves, and that tumor was in the left frontal lobe. But the tumor cells itself had wrapped itself around a word this long. I don't know what it is. I can't pronounce it. But anyway, I had surgery done. They went in and successfully removed 90% of the tumor. They were afraid to go any further because of the possibility of causing a stroke. I went 6 months, headache-free after that, and then they started slowly coming back. Then I started going, and it was years, you can figure from 2007, it was years of testing at UAMS. I got accepted in a program at UAMS because I had headaches 15 days a month or more. And I don't mind telling you that's pretty tough to live with and deal with. But after many trials and tests, nerve blocks, 34 and 36 injections at one time in my head, they finally isolated. It's called the supraorbital nerve. And make a long story short, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's an implant right there. A little metal box. It's got a wire that runs up my head, comes around, and goes to my eye socket. And I brought it with me. Hopefully I got time to do it. But this is an antenna. I lay it on that. I plug it in. I program what pain relief I need and what zone I need. And then I turn it off and go about my way. So I'm in heaven now.
Thank you very much, Mr. Haynie, for sharing that with us. Judge Lincoln.
January 12, 2010, I had a stroke, and that stroke impaired my vision, primarily my peripheral vision. I have virtually no left peripheral vision in both eyes. I'm not blind, I can see, but it does appear that I'm looking through a veil. The best way I describe it is it looks like I feel like I'm looking through a dirty piece of visqueen. That has made me unable to drive. It has not made me unable to fulfill my duties as White County Judge. I can get to any location at any time I so desire. I walk a lot to meetings. I walk a lot to go to lunch, but it has not impaired me one bit. We were discussing this today in the office, and I had my stroke on Tuesday. I got out of the hospital on Thursday. Monday was a holiday, and I was conducting quorum court the following Tuesday. So a week after having my stroke, I was sitting at quorum court, presiding over the quorum court. I rarely ever miss work due to sickness or illness. I try to watch what I eat, watch my blood pressure, watch my blood sugar, My health is fine, other than my vision is impaired. The part of the brain that has those receptors was died. The brain is an amazing thing. There's a possibility that those receptors could reroute. I'm not really counting on that, but I'm thankful for what I have, the vision I have, and I'm thankful to be able to continue to do my job.
Thank you. Mr. Haynie, would you like a rebuttal?
Yes. Some months ago, I called Judge Lincoln and gave him my word that I would not use his health or any part of his health in this campaign. And so far, I have lived up to that, and I believe he has afforded me the same thing. But you know, there's rumors out there. People create rumors, but I've not used it as a campaign point, and I'm proud that I have lived up to that promise.
Thank you. Obviously, there's a lot of important issues, and we could stay here all night. And unfortunately for me, I know I've thoroughly enjoyed this, and I really do appreciate both of you. But I only have one question left, and I will pose it to you, Judge Lincoln, and then we'll get to our closing statements. Judge Lincoln, what is the biggest problem facing White County today, and what are you going to do, if elected, to help the county overcome it? And Mr. Haynie, same in your response, your thoughts on what the biggest problem in White County is, and how are you going to handle it, and how would you handle it differently than you feel the current administration is handling? Biggest problem, Judge?
You already know that I've told you that my wife and I have been married several years. We have several children. We have several grandchildren. I run and serve as White County Judge because I'm interested in the future and the children of White County. Obviously, I have a big stake in that with 17 grandchildren. I believe the issues before us today are economic development and infrastructure. The countywide tax would have addressed both of those issues if passed. But since it did not pass, we are continuing to work in the areas of economic development and infrastructure. If you will check the record, you will see that we have replaced several one-lane wooden bridges with two-lane concrete bridges all around the county. I believe we have replaced 7. They're pouring the concrete on 2 this very week, one on Romance Road and one on Sandy Ford Road. We have several other one-lane wooden bridges that need to be replaced in our county, and we will continue to work toward that. Tamara Jenkins, the OEM coordinator, helped find some mitigation grant money to assist in those efforts. Infrastructure is improving our road system, and the Quorum Court continues to work with me, continues to provide extra money to improve our road system. And when they give me that extra money, they place within me a huge trust to do it fair, to do it adequately, and to spread it around. And I believe, I've been accused of not having a list. Here's a list. If you want to look at the list and see the number of roads that we've done last year, the number of roads that we will do this year. We will continue to do that with the funds that we have available.
Thank you. Mr. Haynie, biggest problem facing White County, how is it being handled by them? By them, I mean their current administration, and what would you do differently in handling that problem?
The number one thing that I hear in the county is all about roads and bridges. They don't seem to think that there's enough being done. I'm not going to stand up here and say the judge has done all wrong. His people has done all wrong. He's got some good people and he's done some good things, but we differ on how things should be done. What I would do different would put more emphasis on the roads. I've got plans for 911. our current dispatch system, not so much to move it because that's such a big expense, but to improve it to an extent. And for the most part, that's pretty much in my closing statement. So, you know, I just probably be repeating myself twice. So,
Sure. Thank you. Would you like a rebuttal, Judge Lincoln?
Well, it appears I'm in for a lot of surprises in the closing statement, and since I won't have to have a chance to respond to those surprises, I would encourage everyone that listens to our closing statements, and if you have any questions about our closing statements, feel free to call me. Feel free to catch me. Ask me what about those surprises in the closing statement.
Thank you. Gentlemen, I certainly appreciate your candor in answering all of the questions that we've posed. Again, I know that's probably only the tip of the iceberg, but it's been very informative, and thank you both for really opening up to the voters that are here in attendance. Yeah. With that said, Judge Lincoln, you will now have 7.5 minutes for your closing statements. Mr. Haynie, you will finish up with 7.5 minutes, and then we will adjourn for the evening. Judge Lincoln.
Once again, I want to say thank you for everyone that has come out tonight. It's a tribute to the citizens of White County when we have this many people come out who are interested in the governmental process. I believe county government is the best governmental process in existence. There's so much accountability in the county government system. There are balances and checks along the way. The Amendment 55 has given the county judge a tremendous responsibility. Amendment 55 has given the county judge the executive and judicial power in county government. The legislative power resides with the quorum court. It's a beautiful system with checks and balances. It's a beautiful system of not being able to spend more than 90% of anticipated revenue. It's a beautiful system of not being able to spend not one dime that has not been appropriated by the justices of the peace. What a beautiful system of government we have. I'm honored to be a part of that system. You have honored me by electing me 3 terms. I ask you to consider voting for me for a 4th term. I believe my record speaks for itself. We have improved the bridges in White County. Just go out and look at the Romance Bridge that's going to be poured tomorrow. A 120-foot, 1-lane wooden bridge replaced by a 300-foot, 2-lane concrete bridge by state aid money, of which the county only paid 10% of the cost of that $900,000 bridge. Go out to McEwen, go out to Graham, go out to Mount Pisgah, go out to Sibley Trail, go out to different areas of the county, go out to Red Hill, go out to Hilltop Acres. I can tell you all around the county there have been bridges replaced. And also we continue to chip seal the amount of roads that the weather and our funds allow us to do so. You know, it takes a tremendous amount of money to operate the county road system. We still have 1,200 miles of gravel road. Just to put a 2-inch coat of gravel on all 12 of those 1,200 miles of county road would cost $7.2 million. That's my whole road budget for this year. So we have tremendous needs. We don't have tremendous amount of money in the county road system. I will tell you that the JPs have graciously looked at ways that they can do special projects. One of the special projects that the Buildings and Grounds has looked at is a new state-of-the-art 911 dispatch center located near the current law enforcement center. There's so much interaction between law enforcement and the 911 dispatch center. It's really a disservice to our deputies to have to be across town to file warrants and to get information. So one of the line items that have been set aside for us to consider this year is a construction of a state-of-the-art 911 technologically advanced center.